Hello, hello. How are you all doing? For those of you that do not know me, my name is Emily. I grew up in the AUB, or Apostolic United Brethren, which is the world's largest polygamous cult. And my father, David Watson, is the current prophet or leader or priesthood head, whichever you prefer. We are going to review the latest episode of Sister Wives. I'm sorry I have been MIA. When it rains, it pours, and there have just been some crazy things that have happened. So hold on to your pockets because I'm ready for some good Sister Wives snark. So let's get into it, guys. This episode starts out with all of them at Coyote Pass. Mary and Janelle get there. They get out and talk to each other. Then it's cold, so they get back in their cars. Cody and Robin pull up. They don't get out of their cars. They don't say hi. They take the other wife sitting there waiting for them as a "we're not communicating today" kind of sign. Mary says something to the effect of, "We already have kind of been waiting here for an hour." I think that would piss anyone off, and I'm not surprised they didn't get out and say hi. It's kind of shocking that they finally made it to the point of selling Coyote Pass. Robin says she kind of hoped that everybody would get out and say hi. It's so funny how her hopes and dreams are just not the things that she likes to do, right? Her behavior is so different from the things that she wishes and she says that she wants. If you show up that late, don't you think you should probably get out and do the "I'm sorry that I was so late. Hey guys, how you doing? You're the last ones to get there. It's raining." Cody says it feels like an old Western standoff at Coyote Pass. And then he does this little whistle. "Well, do you feel lucky, punk?" I was like, come on, man. What the heck? Why is it so hard to just take the lead, Cody? Why are you such a little bitch that you can't get out of your car and say hi to your ex-wives? Why is it so disgusting that you and your wife sit and talk all of this shit about the other wives, and yet you and your wife aren't willing to do anything to make the situation any different? So then the realtor Justin gets there, and Cody and Robin start hopping out of their car. Cody tells Robin, "Grab the umbrella." Janelle gets out of her car. Mary starts getting out of her car. Cut to Robin. Cody told me that Janelle wanted to do a backdoor deal and get Mary out of things. And then Cody comes on and says, Janelle said, as this episode was starting, we see a clip of Cody saying, "I was calling Janelle and saying, hey, let's do a backdoor deal and get the two of them out of this." Which is it, Cody? Did Janelle do it or did you do it? Did Janelle do it in your imagination because after you do anything, you think you need to blame it on someone else? I think I'm going to roll with that. I'm pretty sure that Cody was the one trying to do the backdoor deal, and now he's placing the blame on Janelle. Janelle comes on and says that she was waiting on Mary, and that she was getting stressed out, that she was afraid they were going to lose the buyer. And I'm sure this is a stressful situation. They have been pushing to make this happen for 2 years. So I cannot imagine why Mary was dragging her feet. Could it have had anything to do with Cody and Robin and pushing for that NDA? And of course, Janelle probably doesn't know all of that. There's just so much triangulation that goes on in these polygamous marriages, and these men create scenarios that pit these wives against each other. It doesn't matter what the man does, because if these women aren't communicating regularly, then they don't know. And when you have situations like Christine and Robin, where Robin is running straight to Cody with anything that Christine is telling her, and then Christine's getting in trouble, why would they want to talk to each other? Now, of course, they have attorneys involved, and Mary and Janelle have been communicating. So if there's this holdup, were Mary and Janelle communicating on the back end? I don't understand why, if Mary wasn't going to sign the NDA, wouldn't she have told Janelle, hey, this is what's going on? They're trying to get me to sign an NDA and I won't do it. I think that if there is an issue between Mary and Janelle, that is 100% on both of their shoulders. We obviously don't know all of the scenario or the situation. We only know what we're seeing on this hour episode, but communicate. It's so simple. Just call each other up and talk about it. I've seen this my whole entire life, and I've watched my dad do it repeatedly. And I've even watched my dad's wives sit and repeat my dad's lies, knowing that they're lies. It's like these women just can't get a grip on their own sense of reality. And then Robin says, it's been important to me to make sure that everyone was treated fairly in this situation. Was it important to you, Robin? Because if it was important to you, I think from the start of this situation, you would have insisted that every wife be on every piece of property, or that every piece of property had a certain wife's name on it, and then the next wife had an equal amount as the first wife, right? See this, Robin? You can say one thing, but when you're doing another, just doesn't line up, sister.
So yeah, I fought him. That's cool about it. So yeah, just
So yeah, she fought him. They had some pretty big fights about it. Why haven't you been fighting him to be fair all the way through? And then maybe the dream that you keep talking about wouldn't be a dream. It would be reality. Cody says, in the end, we just kind of laid down and said, we're going to do the best we can to get everybody their 25%. I don't understand why, until your hand is being forced, you can't do the good, right, honorable thing. Why is it so damn hard for these polygamous men and narcissistic men in the world like them to just be fair? It doesn't make sense why they can't be fair and equitable and make things even. But the other wives haven't met Justin yet. Cody gets out of the car and walks over and starts having a conversation with Justin, and Mary and Janelle are just kind of standing over there waiting for them. Everybody walks up, and of course, Robin's got her snarky little smirk on her face, like she just knows things that nobody else knows. Nobody's really talking to each other. So Justin introduces himself. Janelle says, looks like it's all coming together. Robin keeps looking at Cody. The camera shows Mary looking directly at Robin, and it shows Robin looking at Cody. And Mary says, I looked at Robin several times. I wanted to catch her attention. I wanted to smile, send that, hey, I'm cool. Robin never would look at her. So now you have these four hostile adults standing here together, and not one of them can say, hi, Robin, how are you? Hi, Cody, how are you? Hi, Janelle, how are you? Hi, Mary, how are you? Why not just break the ice and get it over with? This situation seems so disturbing, awkward, uncomfortable. It just seems bizarre. The four of you were in a family together for 15 years, and Mary was with Cody for 16 years prior to that, and Janelle was with Cody for 15 years prior to that. Be adults, people, and learn to speak. This is hard, though. In polygamy, women are subservient to the men. You don't really have a voice. And so it's easy behind the scenes to say certain things. Then in this situation, where's your voice? And of course, Janelle, she's not sick, but she loses her voice right before she comes into this situation. Have you ever heard of Feelings Buried Alive Never Die? Greatest book my sister Melanie introduced me to. It's called The Metaphysical Anatomy, and it relates all of the emotional things that are connected to your physical health. So I think that Janelle hasn't had a voice for the entire duration of her relationship with Cody. And now she's coming back into the situation, and what does her body do? Her body takes away her voice. I love the new production because the camera is clearly showing Janelle and Mary looking directly at Cody, looking directly at Robin. And you can see Cody looking around the property, looking at Justin. And you can see Robin looking at Justin, looking directly at Cody, as Cody and Robin are saying, yeah, they just wouldn't make eye contact with us. I don't know what happened. And of course, Cody says, Mary would never make eye contact with me. But I'm sure Mary will say that she tried to. And if she did, I didn't see it. And then Cody sets into his skinny dipping story. They got the property, they got out there, and all the kids just started running and jumping in, skinny dipping. So then they flash back to that memory. How fun is that? Cody's out there in his skivvies, pretending to be King Kong and hollering and hooting. He loves to tell that story about how he went skinny dipping with his kids because, God forbid, polygamous men don't behave like creepy creeps. And then Janelle says, there is an emotional connection to this property. And they were really idealistic in the beginning. She says that Garrison came out there quite a bit and took a lot of photos of the night sky, and they start showing some of those photos. I love, again, how much they incorporate Garrison into their conversations and into their lives. I think it's such a great way to memorialize him. Robin's just grateful for the experiences that they did have with Coyote Pass. Justin tells him that he's got everything printed out. He's got all the deeds ready to go. If they want to look over them, make sure everything is spelled correctly. Janelle says good, and that the money's going to go a long ways towards her new project. And I love that for her. I love that these women did get this money and that it is a stepping stone towards their future and that this is it. This piece of property clearly showed to the world and to their family exactly who Cody and Robin are, and as much of a fight as it was to get this thing sold, it ended up being worth it for those women. I think if it wasn't Coyote Pass, it would have been something else. There would have been something else that they were tied into that Cody and Robin would have given them grief over and would have dragged their feet on. So Janelle walks over to Justin and starts looking at the deeds. And Mary just stays back. She just stands back a few feet, and she is looking at Cody and Robin pretty much the whole time. You can see the camera keeps showing her just looking at them with kind of a half FU smirk on her face. And every time that it would be appropriate for Robin to look at the other women, she just starts looking around. She's just like looking around the property, or she's looking directly at Cody. Janelle says, good, looks good. Glad it's done. Justin shakes Cody's hand, gives Robin a big hug, walks over and gives Janelle a hug, and then gives Mary a hug. And Robin and Cody just say, thanks, Justin, turn around and keep walking to their car. They don't say a word to the other wives. So they show up late. They don't say anything to them. They only interact with the real estate agent, and then they turn around and walk away. They don't even say goodbye. And then they get on TV and they start talking about how the women wouldn't look at them. Where the fuck is your accountability? These two don't realize that these cameras show exactly what they do. We're watching them do one thing, and then we're seeing clips of them saying that they didn't do that. It was the women that did that. It's the cognitive dissonance between these two is bonkers. Mary says, they didn't even say hi. They didn't even say bye. It was like I'm invisible. Janelle says, I think Robin thought that she was going to be persecuted, like she was going to be attacked. Janelle says, that was really awkward, right? Like, that was super awkward. And Mary's like, it was so awkward. We can all be adults. It's like they didn't even know how to have a conversation. I think that Cody was really trying to do a backdoor deal, and I think that he 100% was getting her to sign an NDA. He did not want any of this to be any more public than it already was. And Mary would have been able to come out and expose those things. And the funny thing is, I think had he not tried to silence her, Mary probably wouldn't have said anything. But because he did, now she's going to. And this situation is playing out right now with my mom and dad. My mom is having to sue my dad for her home. He won't put her on the title of her home. He is getting out to the public and saying that my mom is a liar, that nothing is true, and that he is 100% owner of the property. Anybody in the public can look it up and see that the other two wives are listed on the property. One wife passed away, so they rent that unit and collect income from it. The other two wives are both listed as owners on the property. My father is not 100% owner of the property. According to the way they have it titled into thirds, he's a third of an owner, and the other two wives each own a third. And my mom should be on the property. It should be divided 25, 25, 25, 25. But these men, in my opinion, I don't know any of them that are just and fair. I know a few of them that I'd like to think are, and they're really nice, really personable guys, but I don't know how they treat their wives behind closed doors. I don't know what goes on. The majority of the men that I know, including my own father, will steal from their children, will steal from their wives, will spend their wives' money without batting an eye. They don't give a shit. They want what they want, and they want it when they want it. Robin is saying, no, I don't really, I don't really like fakeness. I don't like pretending everything's okay when it's not. Why are you on here saying that you're fighting to make things fair? That you and Cody had big, major blowout fights. And then in the next sentence, I don't like fakeness. So why even talk to these women? Because everything's not okay. What's going to make it okay, Robin? Why do you start out the episode saying that you fought for them to make sure everything was fair? And 10 minutes in, you're talking about how you can't be fake. I don't know how to be fake. I can't pretend like everything's okay. All right, can you compartmentalize your emotions? Can you be an adult? Can you be kind to the people that are standing there in front of you? What's that all about? And then Cody has the audacity to say, Robin hates girl games. Are you serious? She's standing there playing a fucking girl game. She can't be an adult and say hi to the other wives. She's got to stare at you the whole time, then come on TV and say that the women wouldn't look at her. She's playing a girl game, Cody, and so are you. You are both playing games.
She's nuanced way different than me.
Yeah. And she reads nuance way different than me. He's such a jackass. I can't. I love to laugh at him. He's so dumb. Cody says Coyote Pass, from the inception of it, it's been very messy since day one. It's been very complicated. Geez, I wonder why, Cody. Should we go back and take a look? Because guess what, bud? There's 20 seasons of your family being recorded. I know you don't know this, but how about we backtrack to that time and let's see how things played out. Let's see why it was complicated. Do we think it had anything to do with you and Robin? Oh, no, I'm sure it was all about the OG3. He says everything is done. The property is sold. They have cut these financial ties. And he says, and I am ashamed that it went so badly through the whole thing. You should be ashamed, Cody. You should be ashamed. You have driven everyone in this family, including the wife you profess to love, absolutely crazy. You have driven wedges into all of them. You have caused heartache and heartbreak in all of your children. There is not one person in that family that you haven't deeply, deeply hurt. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Robin says, the deal's done, and this is a sad day, and I don't feel like celebrating. Well, I'll bet those women are ready to celebrate. I'm sure they're both ready to party. This is it. They are done with both of your rotten asses. They don't have to deal with you again. There is nothing that you can dangle over their heads. There's nothing that you can do to hold them back. This cuts the final tie. That has to be so damn freeing to Mary and Janelle. This opens up such an amazing path for both of those women, and you two aren't a stone tied around their neck. They don't have to deal with you ever again. So what's it going to be next? What are we going to listen to or see the two of you bitch about or complicate next? Cody says that the toxicity at Coyote Pass was just too much, that they should have been able to pull out the champagne with Justin. Their wounds are still open. Everybody's just too sore. So then it comes to Christine, and she's in Salt Lake City, and she says, I heard that Coyote Pass sold. Cody, Robin, Mary, and Janelle are all done with it. Christine says that all of the drama that was associated with Coyote Pass, oh my gosh, she is so glad that she got out of it when she did. Even if they got more money than I got selling my house, I don't care. It wasn't worth it for her. Getting away from that drama, her sanity was worth more than dealing with this. And that's why these men play these games, is so that these women will walk away and just be so thankful to be done that they don't care what they walk away with. It's why you don't see headline news about this type of stuff happening anymore, because the women have been run off. These women have just been abused so much. There's so much toxic drama that they just want to get away. David said he thinks he got tricked into being there. And Christine says, I told him, let's do a spa thing, maybe get pedicures or something. And that or something turned into a facial. So they're going into the room, getting on the side by side massage tables. It's a lay down thing. David says, wow, I thought a facial would be sitting up. We've got to be laying down naked. And the girl's like, well, not completely. Christine starts talking about how she gives him little bits of information, but then adds on as things progress. Christine says, he calls it tricked. I call it gradual overwhelming. She says, I tell him we're going to go to the movies, and we end up going to another movie completely. I tell him we're going to go to a party, and it's smaller than it is, but like, I don't always know. I love her sense of humor, and I love these two together. I know I say it in the episodes. I really just am thrilled for her that she found someone that really loves her. She gets to experience what real love is like. And that is so rare. It's so rare for most polygamous women. I would say 98, 99% of polygamous women will never know what it feels like to really be loved. Christine loves monogamy. She said when they first were moving in together, she was like, what am I going to do with a guy around all the time? She said she loves it though. And it's so easy. Can you imagine though? Can you imagine going from Cody Brown and just how high maintenance he is? The world revolves around this man. He cannot have a curl out of place on top of his head. God forbid there's a piece of pepper in the pot of stew. This man needs you to cater to his every whim. To David, who's just laid back, easy peasy, whatever, just wants to be with you. It's great. The significant difference between Cody and David is huge. It's huge. It's awesome. Christine says that David is just so good. He's consistent and he's loving. He does this monogamy thing so well. Then we cut over to pair one, and we are at Mary's family home. Mary said that the renovations have been going on for a few months now, but she said things are consistent and moving along. She said eventually she is planning on turning this into an event space. She's got her friend Amber there with her, who's now her roommate. Amber looks super familiar. I'm sure I know her, but I don't remember exactly who she is. Mary said that the B&B is gone. It will never be a B&B again, but it will never be out of her family again. She will keep it in the family for good. Mary is so excited that Coyote Pass sold. That's it. She's done. She doesn't have to worry about Coyote Pass ever again. She said it feels like she dropped the final anchor that was weighing her down. That situation is over with. I think we're going to see even more brilliance come from Mary and Janelle. I think these two are finally free in a way they have never been free. I think we're going to see them just grow and glow. It's going to be amazing. I am so excited for the example that they're going to set for so many other women that are still stuck in that cult and they have no idea that they're stuck. They think that they're free and they're not free. So Mary and Amber have this whole room that is getting ready to be painted. Mary says, before they finish these walls, I want to write some words on the walls. So I grabbed a couple of them. Her and Amber were just writing words and sayings all around the room. A couple of them are safety, inspiration, resilience, joy, peace, abundance, positivity, strength. Two of the sayings that they wrote are mistakes are welcome, but the one that definitely got them both said, may the roof above us never fall in, and those beneath it never fall out. I love the direction that these ladies are all headed in. I think that we're just going to continue to see greatness from all of them, and I am so here for it. Mary is giving Amber an update on what happened at Coyote Pass. And Amber asks her, are you at peace with how everything went with Coyote Pass? And Mary said, I am at peace with the fact that it's done. And that's very telling, right? It was not an easy process. They did everything they could to throw roadblocks. They did everything they could to get these women to walk away. They did everything they could to be tricky and deceptive and manipulative. And these ladies didn't buy into that. They hung on, they got their attorneys. The deal is done. They said no to the NDAs. Now they can speak on it. They can walk away. They can move on with their lives. Mary said, Amber, it was so weird. It was so awkward. He did not look at me once. She said there was at one point where we kind of caught eyes, but that was it. He wouldn't even look her in the face. How disgusting is that? His childhood love, her childhood love. These two met when they were kids. They were in their early 20s. It's disgusting what that religion, I use religion very loosely, what that religion does to these men, what it trains them to be. All of the parents that care about their kids that are part of the AUB should take warning about who they're going to turn out to be and who their children are going to turn out to be. And she says that Robin never on purposely looked at her. She said it was the dumbest thing. And I completely agree. The camera showed it. Robin just kept looking at Cody or looking around the property, and Mary was very intently looking at Robin and Cody, and neither one of them would make eye contact with her. Not one of them. She said with the long history that they have, they should be able to be adults and be able to just communicate and look at each other. And then she says she's just really enjoying this phase of her life. And I'm sure she is. She is experiencing freedom in a way she never knew possible. She is experiencing joy and abundance and creating a life for herself that she loves, surrounded with good people. People that have her best interest at heart, people that want her to experience joy and love and positivity and happiness. And good for her. Good for her. Good for her for getting away from that. It took her a long time. I get that, but good for her. She's in a place where she really truly gets to enjoy life and she doesn't have these chains of bondage wrapped around her, dragging her down, making her conform to somebody that she's not, filling her head with lies. I'm so grateful that this family is finally free, and I'm so grateful they're on TV and they get to be an example to so many others of what life really can be when you get away from these toxic narcissists that just want to take everything from you. Everything, even in the hard times, you get to experience something that you can't put a price tag on. You just can't. And I do not believe that God wants us to live miserable, uncomfortable, so that we can have a kingdom in heaven. It's so fictional and it is the absolute definition of a cult. Mary says now that Coyote Pass has sold, she is talking about dating again and she's really excited and it's going to be a fun ride. Now we're in North Carolina. Janelle says, look, Maddie is probably the only one that has had a front row pass to the drama of Coyote Pass. She will get how much drama it was, just how toxic it was. Maddie tells her little girl, the restaurant's in your room and you're going to run the restaurant. And the little girl standing in front of Janelle, and Janelle says, bring me a cup of water with no ice and a whole lemon with a knife so I can slice it myself. And Caleb starts laughing. Caleb says, I've heard that before. And Maddie's like, stop, stop, stop. When Cody discovered lemon water, and that it was better for his digestion. Anywhere they went, he would ask for warm water or room temperature water and a whole lemon and a knife so he could cut it himself. And it's funny, I love that Cody just did special forces. I love that all of these people that did not know Cody, most of them didn't know who he was. They all came up with the same conclusion that his family came up with, that we all came up with, that he is a high maintenance pain in the ass. She says, look, he tipped well and people were usually willing to accommodate him. So look, Robin didn't look at anybody. She didn't say anything. She was just like kind of there because she was obligated to be there. Maddie said, why? Janelle says, because we had to sign. We were there to sign. Janelle just is explaining to Maddie. Maddie keeps asking her. They didn't say hi to Mary. They didn't. She's just like, no, we were just standing there like we were all props. And it was just so weird. And I am so glad that it's over. She said, look, now that this is done, Coyote Pass is sold, I never have to think about Cody Brown again. He doesn't have a hold over me. This is it. I'm done. This chapter is closed. She just gets to move on with her life. She gets to do things that make her happy. She gets to spend the time with her kids. She gets to grow her businesses. She just gets to be Janelle and do what she wants and go where she pleases. And she doesn't have a bitchy ass man holding her back, pulling on her reins, telling her what she can and can't do, telling her what she can and can't say, who she can spend her time with, how she can spend her money. None of it. She just gets to be. So she said her and her girlfriends just want to travel, and so they're going to go to New Orleans because why not? And then we go back to Salt Lake City. So Christine and David are laying on the massage table. Christine says something to him. He says, yeah. She says, are you asleep? He says, no. He said, You know me, once I lay down, I'm gone. She says, yeah, 7 seconds is your record. And then she says, Danielle told me the other day that I am a terrible monogamist. She says, Danielle asked her, how independent were you? And she says, very, very. And David says, sometimes I'm like, hello, we need to communicate. But he knows that it's a whole new world. And I think he is really giving her grace and being patient with her through the process of learning to have a partner. She said that Danielle is her sister and they were together the other day. And she says, Danielle is just lovely. And she says, you are a terrible monogamist. And she just said, I take over. She said, I just take over a house. And she's just so used to running things and doing everything on her own that she is just going full steam ahead, just taking care of everything and running everything. And I'm sure David is sitting there like, whoa, wait a second. This is us. Let's do this together. Let's make these decisions together. Let's communicate. And that's a life that she has never known. She's just had to do it on her own. She says marriage is something that you work at. Marriage is hard and it's just something that you work at. And I'm new to this whole monogamy thing. So this is something that I've got to work at. She said that it's just a whole new thing to figure out. She said it's you get married and you have this person that you can rely on. And she's never been able to rely on anyone. She has had to do it on her own always. She's always had to do it on her own. And I absolutely understand perfectly what she's saying. You just have to do it on your own. And until you find that person, till you meet that right person that's capable of doing it with you, then you have to do it on your own. And it's got to be incredibly hard. I hope to maybe have that problem someday. When you don't have anyone, you just have to do it. You just have to figure it out. Maybe sometimes there's this false sense of security. And yet, when I look back, I think about my life, and I have always had to do things on my own. I have never had someone that just took care of me when I needed to be taken care of, or that just picked up the slack. I have always done things on my own. So I fully relate to what she's saying, and I can completely embrace it because it's so true. You don't know what it's like to have anybody to depend on. You just don't. Janelle says, I have wondered if I could live monogamy after living polygamy. She says, maybe, probably, we'll see. And David says, you're doing great. You're doing great. As things come up, we deal with them and we keep moving forward. And Christine just thanks him. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being patient with me. And I love that. She's never had a man that can just support her. All of the men that she has known have berated her and belittled her. And now she has this man that says, hey, look, I'm over here. Let's communicate about these things. And he's easy. He's not getting angry at her. He's not getting upset at her. He's not belittling her. He's not being condescending to her. There isn't a passive aggressive tone in his voice. He's saying, I'd like to do these things with you. Let's partner on this. Can we talk about these things? It's easy. It's simple. And this man isn't full of rage and anger and upset. And that's new to Christine. And how sad is it that that's new to Christine? How sad is it that the majority of us do not know men like this? We just don't. We don't know men like this. These are not the type of men that we were raised with. But the two therapists come in, they wrap these headbands around their heads, and David says, whoa, I got a thing on my head. And the lady says, yeah, you look like a pretty princess. He just giggles about it. And Christine says, David just gives and gives and gives. He just gives all day. All day long, he's solving other people's problems. He's just giving all day long. What would it be like to be around someone that is like you, that is similar in that aspect, that is giving and loving and caring and kind? It's got to be so new for Christine. For like $1 million. So she says at the end of the day, he deserves to be pampered. And that is great. He probably doesn't come home expecting to be pampered. He probably doesn't come home demanding to be pampered, But because he is giving and loving and kind, she wants to pamper him. She wants to give him that. So they put like these seaweed things over their eyes, and then they pour this like jelly, this green jelly stuff all over their faces. And David's like, "Whoa, what is that?" Christine's all excited. "Baby, this is like a cucumber situation." David says, "I lost my man card somewhere on the floor. Can somebody pick it up and give it back to me?" And Christine says, "Baby, you have a great man card. Only real men get things like this." And I love it. I think it's hilarious that Cody goes on special forces and he thinks real men have to be tough and blah, 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 blah. He goes on there just acting like such a jackass with his real men ideals, and he just is so backwards on what a real man is. And then here's David, soft and caring and kind, and the family loves him, the kids love him, his wife loves him, everybody wants to be around him. God, imagine that. If nobody wants to be around you that's part of your family, maybe you should stop and take a look at your behavior. And if you were to change your behavior and you started acting kindly towards your family and caring towards your, like really truly caring towards your family, maybe they would change their feelings of not wanting to be around you. It's such a weird thing to think about. There's not usually anyone to talk to about things, so I just have to figure it out myself. In monogamy, there's always someone there to figure it out with. There's always someone there to talk to. So I have to communicate a lot more. Imagine that. You have someone that is a partner with you. You are communicating with them regularly and you're talking through things. They're not just demanding things of you. They're not just telling you when everything is wrong or not the way they would have done it, but I guess it'll work for this time. Imagine having someone that just loves you for you and that communicates with you in a normal, friendly tone. It's such a weird concept. She says, "I am really honestly learning to communicate at 52 years old, and it's amazing." That gives me hope because I'm 43. And I think her and David have been together and married for like 2 years. So she met him when she was 50. So I still have time. There's still time to find the right man. There's still time to find the love of my life. There's still time to figure things out and also have time to fall in love with a man that I could spend my forever with. So I'm excited that there's still time.